Cody in the morning. WSM. This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
It is 8 o'clock, and Eryn Cooper is in for Kelly Sutton with the top stories in entertainment. Full details coming a little later on this hour. What you working on?
Oh, my goodness. Well, another round of ACM performers has been announced. We already know a ton of the superstars, including host Reba McEntire, will be performing. But what out-of-genre artists are going to be hopping on stage, we'll tell you. Also, Hardy gave a commencement speech at his alma mater, MTSU, over the weekend. The beautifully encouraging words that I actually felt like I needed to hear that he shared with the graduates. That's coming up in just a sec. As well as Dustin Lynch's pool situation. If you don't know what a pool situation is, you're going to learn today. So we'll tell you coming up in a little bit.
We've had a lot of these lately. Would the defendants please rise? Sort of moments in country music. And from a couple of years ago on American Idol, into your life and living room, Carrie Brockwell is coming to see us in a few minutes.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
So far, I haven't seen it, but I so hope she's got it with her. Her golden ticket, American Idol, 2 years ago. Welcome to Coffee, Country, and Cody, Carrie Brockwell.
Thank you so much.
Do you carry it around kind of like a Hall of Fame medallion?
I definitely used to, and then I was like, oh, I may actually lose this on accident. So now it's at home. It's at home.
Is it kind of like the ticket from Polar Express?
Oh, it's...
you know what I'm talking
honestly
about?
Quite like it. It doesn't say believe on it. It says
okay.
American Idol. But yeah, for real.
Did you grow up watching SpongeBob SquarePants?
Yes, I did.
Okay, did you frame it like Mr. Krabs' Me First Dollar and put it on the wall?
Pretty much. Yeah, it's in this little like plastic thing that holds it together. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Take us on a journey through the life and times of Carrie Brockwell.
Oh, my
this
goodness.
morning. And well, let's start with Idol.
Yes,
and we'll go
yes,
back to
yes.
your early life.
Yeah, so Idol, people are like, what made you audition for American Idol?
And where did you audition?
In Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Yes. So they're always like, what made you do that? What was the inspiration for it? And I'd always watched the show as a kid. But 15 was the first age that you can audition for American Idol. And I was 15 at the time, that summer of 2021. And my dad was like, hey, I see the open audition. Like, it was on Zoom. We're like, want to try? And
well, because this other girl named Carrie early on did really well.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's very true. I'm like, I don't know if I can fill those shoes. But yeah, so it was kind of just like, let's see what happens. And it was a bunch of little Zoom calls. And, the first call that I was on with a guy in a breakout room, he was like, man, this may be the best thing that I've heard all day. And I was like, what? I was like, what? That's crazy. And so it kind of just kept snowballing from there in a fabulous way. And turned out I got an email 2 weeks later that was like, you're going to go to Austin, Texas to audition for the judges. It was crazy.
Wow.
So where were you? Were you back home in Virginia?
Yes, I was when
in
I auditioned.
Chesterfield.
Yes.
Shout out to Chesterfield,
Yes,
your hometown.
yes, hometown.
Which you and Eryn share in common.
Yeah.
The Virginia residency.
Near the Richmond area.
Yes.
And I got to work in Richmond for 2 summers when I was working for the Washington Commanders
That's so
many
awesome.
moons ago. But something I found so fascinating about Richmond is it's also very artistic, but in a very different way than I would say Nashville.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
But I'm hoping that you got to dive into the artisticness of that community. How would you say it's different than here?
Oh my goodness. It's definitely like, I feel like it's definitely a little bit not like, it's a little more grungy, I feel like.
Yes.
Richmond. I feel like there's definitely a lot more like, I don't know, it's a lot more moody than Nashville, as I feel like Nashville's like, yeah, we're here and we're about to get our game on, but everybody in Richmond's like, we're in our feelings. And
A lot more street art in Richmond, I'd say.
for sure.
Asheville has that sort of feel that you described too. Asheville, not
Yes.
Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of fun, but I mean the music scene in Richmond is awesome. It's pretty awesome, and it's crazy to have grown up with these people around me like Pat McGee and all these people in Richmond that I've had their start in Richmond, and then now I'm kind of following them and getting mentorship from them, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Well, Virginia, a lot of people may or may not know, but in that part of the world they would know, it's tobacco country. So when I saw Chesterfield, the first thing that popped into my head was used to be at least, there was a brand of cigarettes known as Chesterfield. And there was a time when Bear Bryant from your University of Alabama, Eryn, had a Chesterfield cigarette endorsement.
Wow, this is becoming very full circle.
Times have changed. I saw your dad smiling as I was telling that off the air a little bit ago. So you're 3 when you have your first stage performance? Did I read that somewhere?
Yes.
Now, what was that? Because I know Annie came along later,
Yes.
and Joseph and the amazing Technicolor
yes.
Dreamcoat.
Oh, yes. So I remember like having my preschool graduation solo, and like I was up there, and then I was singing in my church talent show at like 3-4 years old. So those were my favorite. I think I sang Highway 20 Ride by Zach Brown Band, and yeah, there's a video of it, and I'm like messing up the words, and the mic stops working, and I'm like, but I was just going with it. I was having a good time.
You're in show business.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's what live music's all about.
No feeling like that.
Yeah, for real. So it was awesome. And then, musical theater was just kind of my start into performing and things like that. So that's how I got into doing things like Annie. And when I was 11, I permanently dyed my hair red for Annie. And that was my first time. It was crazy.
Committing to the bit.
Crazy.
Were
On
you-
Halloween in 6th grade, too.
Were you given the option of an Annie wig, or did you just go for it?
See, what's funny is I actually also wore the wig.
Oh, wow. You went full depth into the character.
She gets permed at the end, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not.
Funny enough, the actress who played, this is so random, Mary Jane in the stage production of Spider-Man on Broadway about 15 years ago, she wore a wig as Mary Jane, but also dyed her hair red as a way to like commit even
she was
further
going
so that
method.
she was,
Yes,
very,
yes.
that just
She was
reminded me of
I love that. Yeah.
So how long was the process in Austin when you auditioned for the judges? Were you there
So-
for a period of time?
I was there for like a good week, I think.
Yeah.
Remembering it. It's kind of hard to remember because it was such a crazy time.
And we were coming out of the pandemic. So from
Yes.
Austin, where did you go geographically?
So I went back home
Okay.
because of filming, and then I went to Hollywood that December. And that was the craziest experience. I know, like,
Did you tell me when you went to the ticket stand at the airport, you just put your golden ticket up?
this is all I need.
I wish. That'd be cool.
See me to my quarters.
Yes, this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going. But yeah, so like I definitely did fly around with my golden ticket for a while. Like it was in my guitar case,
That's
and we were
great.
carrying it around. And I was like, dang, well, I really need to make sure that this guitar doesn't go anywhere because that ticket's in there, and I feel like I don't know. That's a thing you can't lose.
You won a Josie Award
Yes, I
for
did.
EP of the Year.
Yes.
And that brought you, because the award show was done at the Grand Ole Opry House, so you have been on the stage of the Grand
Yes.
Ole
Oh my
Opry,
gosh. Oh my gosh.
soaking up that vibe, knowing
Oh.
that one day, that's every artist's dream, is to play the Grand Ole
absolutely.
Opry in earnest.
Yes.
So what was that like?
Oh my goodness, so surreal. I remember sitting in the seat and hearing my name, and there were so many names in that category that I couldn't really read my name on the screen that they put. It was so small, and so I was like, man, there's like no way. I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. I was just happy to be there. I was like, I'm just happy to be in the seat and have my name on the stage and that thing. So I'm like, I was just living in the moment, and then to hear my name. Oh my gosh, that was the most surreal. I just remember telling the person who walked me off stage, like, I don't think my legs are working right now. I was like, I don't think I can stand up.
So you had to give a speech?
Yes, I did.
acceptance
I
speech.
did. Yes, and
Did you have it written down, or did you do it on the fly?
No, it was off the cuff, off the dome.
Yeah, impromptu.
Yes. And I remember just walking up, my dad going, "That's my baby girl," and it's the funniest thing. But just standing in that circle and being able to look out in. Oh my gosh, just such a dream. And I'm like, to imagine myself there, hopefully one day, is just insane. That's, that would be life made.
Have you made a connection with Carrie Underwood? Speaking of the Carrie connection there, the name connection. Have you gotten to know her at all?
No, not really, not yet.
I don't know if there were reunion opportunities.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
not.
No,
The
a lot
day
of
is
my friends
young.
want to go. Yes, for real. Yes. Yeah, I saw her when I was 10, but that's about as close as I've been.
What, she played Richmond and you went to see her there?
Yeah,
or-
she played Charlottesville at John Paul Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, even if years go by, I love that
Yes.
title.
Yes, thank
Just
you so
when I
much.
saw the title, and now we're going to play it the entirety
Yes.
of the song. An original or a co-write?
This is a co-write, yes, with me and Britton Cameron.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's awesome. This song, I'm a big 70s girl, so I'm inspired by, Carole King is my favorite artist of all time.
Oh, wow.
Carole King, Jackson Brown are big ones. for
James
me.
Taylor.
Oh, yes, yes. So great. And so, Dad and I on the way to this writing session were listening to The Loadout by Jackson Brown. And I was like, this is such a cool story, and not like I'm playing stadiums or anything yet, but, but, it is an interesting vibe after shows, and, it's that thing that not a lot of people get to know. And so we were like, let's write a goodbye song. And I was like, that's perfect because I'm in this headspace. And so this is kind of like my loadout, I would think.
Carrie Brockwell, you are talented beyond your years. My goodness, even if years go by.
Yes.
What a performance of that song. You got
Thank
to hear
you so
all
much.
over the world a little bit ago on WSM Radio and all our Circle streaming platforms as people watch. CircleCountry.com, and you can link to the favorite streaming platform there or just watch it, CircleCountry.com. So you're graduating.
Yes, I am.
When?
May 31st.
All right, so you
But
got...
high school.
Yes.
Graduating high school,
Yeah,
which
'cause
is
she's-
crazy to me.
You were 15 when we talked about the Austin, Texas journey and American Idol.
Yes.
15 years old.
Craziness.
17 and graduating. Going to Belmont, did I
Yes,
read?
I am. Yes, sir.
Is that still the plan?
Yes, to study music business. Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah. I know, crazy.
Does anybody major in anything else at Belmont other than music business?
Songwriting. I think the music business
There's a-
makes more sense.
I do too. I do too.
Because you can write the songs, but the business part is what gets most people. So that's actually
so
incredible
that's-
background.
Thank you.
Oh, you can flip them either way. Major in one, minor in the other.
Yeah,
and you
there you
got
go.
it. Got
For
it.
real.
You're protected.
Awesome. We have to show off her vinyl.
Impressing.
Yes. Here, Vanna White it, Charlie, to your
Oh,
camera.
yeah. This
Charlie's
is
the
fantastic.
vinyl collector. as
So,
well.
Yes.
number one, I want to. The care that Carrie did with this is fantastic because you notice it still has the shrink wrap in it, but she very carefully. Now, if you're a vinyl person, you know how to take the shrink wrap off without ripping it. But she took it off, signed it, and then put it back on the album. That's not easy. And then inside, it is a beautiful white vinyl pressing of the album. So
I don't have a white vinyl.
very,
Now
very
I do.
impressed. Now you do. There you go.
Awesome.
Yes.
So, Carrie Brockwell, the White Album.
There you
Yes.
go. Yes. Who knew?
It worked for the Beatles.
Hey, we're on the right track.
There you go.
Something's going right.
So, is it Chesterfield High School? Is that the name of your high school? Or you?
So my home school is Matoaka, but I go to the Appomattox Regional Governor's School
And-
for musical theater.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Heck yeah, you
Yes.
do. That's awesome.
Appomattox. They got a big courthouse there.
They do.
That's
May have heard about it.
Very true.
Play and sing for us live in
Yes,
studio, if you
yes.
would, on that Gibson guitar.
Yes, oh my gosh. So this song that I'm gonna do for y'all is called Find a Way. And people are like, sing me a song that makes you cry. And I'm like, this is this song. Because I co-wrote this with Christian Stallnecker. And it's, you know, if any of my songs are my story, this is it. Because it's about how, you know, I don't believe that any sacrifices that I've made in high school have been bad sacrifices. They're all worth it. Because, you know, I'm doing what I love and I'm building my craft and I'm, you know, just my career keeps building and I'm just so thankful. It's, you know, I'm not going to the football games every weekend and I'm not going to the homecoming dance because, you know, I was playing a show that night. And so it's just all these things of all, you know, sacrifices, but they're not. I don't think they are.
Carrie Brockwell on
I'm
Coffee,
speechless.
Country, and Cody. And in a couple of days, Friday, you'll be at the Country Club in Petersburg, Virginia,
Yes,
back
yes.
home in Virginia. And then 2 days before your high school graduation, you're
yeah.
playing Pat McGee's in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina.
Yes, oh my goodness.
And then, I'd love to stay, but I have to go graduate.
Carrie, seeing you be so confident and comfortable in the sacrifices that you have made to not only follow but already succeed so greatly at your dreams, it is so wonderful to see that, because when you are somebody that leaves your everything behind to pursue what you love, it can be very, very lonely. But as you said in your last song, you're not lonely, you're just alone. And we have to give a shout out to your dad, who is just like, I'm literally choking up right now
Don't make me
watching
cry.
him.
I'll cry too.
You have such a great support system. Congratulations.
I mean, come
bro.
on. He's key grip. He was packing that guitar
Yeah,
case
he
around
was.
like a
You
true
know,
roadie this
my
morning.
favorite roadie.
Yeah.
My best one.
And how cool is she? The rivets on her jacket kept percussion
Oh yeah.
in time
Seriously.
with her guitar playing this morning.
Whew.
You're on Coffee Country and Cody. If you've not seen Stephen Curtis Chapman's post about cicadas with one stuck to his eyebrow while he was on the lookout for them, the look on his face is just priceless. Look it up.
These cicadas are going to be in for quite a beating today with the storms we're going to get in Nashville. I feel so bad. They're going to get all pelted off the trees.
Kill
by
them
the
all.
rain.
They're going to die anyway.
Oh, they're doing so much for the ecosystem, Bill. More this week than any of us will in our entire life. I read that somewhere.
Thursday, that's tomorrow night at the Opry. It's Opry Country Classics with a Johnny Paycheck theme. His son, John Paycheck,
Yeah.
is going to play.
I met him a couple weeks
course.
ago. Super nice guy.
The Gatlins are going to be there. Larry, Steve, and Rudy. And Larry hosts. I'll be at the podium with Chris Jansen, Jamie Johnson, Georgette Jones, William Michael Morgan, or Michael, as he was once called in an introduction.
I will never get over that.
And Jesse Keith Whitley, your lineup for tomorrow night. And that's Eryn Cooper with entertainment.
That is. Hello, hello. Well, speaking of Rudy Gatlin, you just said that he's flying back to Texas to walk and get his...
Rudy is.
Rudy is. Right.
Yes.
Oh, not Larry. Rudy's going back to get his college diploma. Yes?
Yeah.
That is so exciting. Well, someone else...
He graduated officially, but
Yeah.
he just never walked, so he wanted to do that.
Somebody else who is getting their diploma way after the fact is Hardy, who just spoke at the commencement for the 2024 grads of MTSU. He gave a wonderful speech and got his diploma 11 years after he graduated. He was not present for his graduation. And if there's any testament to a successful MTSU grad, Hardy is a great one right now. In just 6 months, he has worked with and performed with Post Malone, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Nickelback, a very random combination of people, but holy cow. And he spoke at the graduation and shared, honestly, great advice that I really needed to hear even where I am now 5-6 years post-grad. It's nice to hear commencement speeches. It kind of refreshes you. You're like, oh, I can kind of reground myself with some good advice. He said a lot about saying yes and saying no, that you can't be afraid to say yes to an opportunity just because you don't think you'll see an immediate result. And when it comes to saying no, you have to stand up for yourself when the time comes. That's something a lot of folks in Nashville have a problem with, is always saying yes, which is good, but also you will burn yourself out and you will die. Probably my favorite moment from the speech.
I didn't realize it was quite that fatalistic.
It can be.
I burned myself out. I'm still alive.
Very cicada-like. Very
It is-
cicada-like.
Yeah.
It is very
That's right.
cicada-like. But probably the most sentimental moment from the speech was a story he told of a time that he did say yes, and thank gosh that he did. Take a listen.
About 8 years ago, my publisher called me and he asked if I wanted to write with this artist, someone who was brand new, someone I had never heard of before. And I was a young songwriter, hungry to write with the biggest writers in town. And to be honest, the last thing on my mind was giving my time to someone that I might not have anything to gain from. But reluctantly, I said yes. And the song we wrote that day was not our best work, but he and I became friends that day. That was in 2016. 2 years later, I wrote my first #1 song, recorded by that artist. Later, I landed a record deal and my first full-length tour opening for that artist. To this day, I have gotten 16 cuts. I've written 3 #1s for that artist. I've toured with him in the biggest stadiums in the country, some of the biggest stadiums in the world, and I can confidently say he had a huge hand in helping me start not only my songwriting career, but my artist career as well. And there is a very big chance none of that would have ever happened if I would not have said yes to writing with my friend Morgan Wallen way back in April of 2016.
Chills.
How about that?
That is so crazy. And of course, he just took the stage with Morgan at Nissan Stadium over the weekend when Morgan was here for 3 nights. So a great example of when to say yes and take a chance on somebody. So congrats to all of the grads from high school and college and those that are still yet to graduate. I believe, is it Vandy is graduating this weekend? Because Belmont was also last weekend.
Yeah, there's been a time Vandy's done like a weekday graduation. I think I run into traffic at like 11 a.m. over on West End with like 20,000 people pouring out.
Well, that's wild. Well, real quick, I wanted to touch on the next round of performers that were announced to perform at the ACM Awards, who our dear Kelly Sutton will be flying out to a week from today because she is a nominee for the National Weekly Radio Personality of the Year. This next round of performers has me extremely excited. Post Malone, Noah Kahan making an appearance with Kelsey Ballerini, who is nominated for Album of the Year and Female Artist of the Year, and skater boy Nate Smith, who had some fun with Avril Lavigne out skateboarding not too long ago, is bringing her on stage. I don't know what they will perform. I hope they do some sort of mashup with Avril. Gwen Stefani will be with her rugged, as Bill clarified earlier, husband Blake Shelton.
Lovely and rugged.
I think he's also lovely. I
Yes,
think Blake Shelton's lovely.
yes.
He's a 6-time ACM Award winner. And Parker McCollum, who was the 2022 New Male Artist of the Year winner, he will be performing too. So that's very exciting.
Useless trivia. Any idea who's won the most ACM awards? And the number? Because you mentioned Blake has 6. It's a lot more than 6.
Is it someone that you would think it is?
George
It's
Strait.
a very popular artist. He's 3rd or 4th.
So Carrie Underwood.
No. Miranda Lambert. 37 ACM awards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, good morning. You're on Coffee Country at Cody.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Always excited when he comes calling. That smile is the first thing you notice when he walks in the door. Matthew West is on Coffee Country and Cody this morning.
Great to be with you.
You look good.
Thank you.
And you smell good, according to girls in the studio.
There you go.
And your children have hipped up your game.
Yeah, my daughters, they got me this cologne, and they said, Dad, this is what you need. So I hope it's working, you know. But you never want to be the guy that comes in and they smell you before they see you.
Right.
No,
You
don't
know
wanna be that
those
guy.
people.
Oh, yeah.
I hope I'm not that guy this morning.
No. That's,
Go ahead.
oh
Eryn.
no,
Yeah.
that's the same people that back in the day would shop at Abercrombie and Hollister.
Yes.
And walk by those stores in the mall, and you need a gas mask and a flashlight. Like,
That's the truth.
Well, this was not a cheap gift, though. This was a very well thought out gift. I
Oh,
would
is
say.
it an expensive cologne? You're familiar with
I'm
it?
quite serious. It's like $300 a bottle. It's
Whoa.
like insanely expensive.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
well, that
so they raised the ante on this gift a little bit.
Well, and you know how it goes. When you have kids, they're using your money to buy your gifts.
oh,
So
that's great. Then you have great taste.
I bought myself some cologne, apparently.
there you go.
Dad, wait till you see what I got you with your money.
It's the thought that counts.
So true, though.
Well, you're back at the Opry, which is one of your favorite
Love it.
stages to play. I know,
Yeah.
and that's. I misspoke earlier. You'll be there on Saturday, the 25th.
Yeah, I can't
also
wait.
Had you there this weekend, but I think there was originally a plan. But that
Yeah, and that's a special weekend at the Opry where there's a big fan awards show, the K-Love Fan Awards that I've hosted for many years. Also takes place that Sunday. So I'll be at the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday night, and then Sunday night's a great award show for Christian music, and it's a fan-voted award show. It's a lot of fun. So I always love standing on the Opry stage. It's such an honor. It's the one stage where I'll get nervous no matter how many times I've been there. That and singing the national anthem somewhere. Like I'll always get nervous singing the national anthem no matter where it is, no matter how many times, you know.
what venue has been the biggest national anthem sing for you that you recall?
Probably Arrowhead Stadium before a Kansas City Chiefs football game.
Which they say has the greatest college game day atmosphere of any NFL city.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And matter of fact, this is a funny story. One time I was singing the national anthem at the Kansas City Chiefs game, and we were coming from a concert, and at the time my tour bus was jet black. And we were rolling up to the stadium, and I felt like people were shouting at us, like the noise outside of the bus. I thought it must be just a rowdy tailgate party. I look out the window, and people are like violently yelling and cursing at us. Turns out the Chiefs were playing the Raiders. The Raiders' colors are black. They had it in their head, if there's a tour bus rolling up, this must be the team bus or something. And we were like, all of a sudden, unknowingly, public enemy number one. And that's when you start to realize the dedication of a fan base. I'll never forget that moment, too. I stood on the sidelines right before they announced me. A giant offensive lineman, Fisher was his last name. He comes up to me with his helmet on. He's sweating, dripping off of his face mask. He looks down at me. He's like, "You singing the anthem?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Don't suck." That was his encouragement. And then he walked away. I mean, I'll tell you what, my knees were shaking. Don't suck. So that's my new advice. Every time I give my band a pre-show pep talk, I'm like, "Guys, bring it in, guys. Don't suck on 3.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Waylon used to famously say, this is not a dress rehearsal.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a dress rehearsal.
Go out there and get it done.
Let's go. Mine's less poetic.
But you have a sports background. I know
Yeah.
we've talked about this before. A lot of people listening this morning may not know this part of your story, but you really wanted to play first base for the Chicago Cubs.
That's
right?
exactly right. And the closest I ever got was singing the national anthem at Wrigley. And
That's still pretty cool.
that
really
was
cool.
Can I tell you though? That one was so funny because they handed me the microphone, and I swear, and you guys will get a kick out of this being in your profession, but I swear the microphone they handed me was the same one that Harry Carey used in the 70s. Like they hadn't updated their audio system at all. I'm like, there's no way this microphone's gonna work. And so it's literally like a stadium that's stuck in time. But it was the neatest moment. And my dad brought me there as a kid.
Yeah.
So that day I got to bring my dad as my guest, and I sang the national anthem. That might even be better than, well, I still wish I was playing first base, but you know.
We share that in common. Our fathers were both pastors.
Yes, sir.
And so what denomination?
Assemblies of God. How about you?
Oh, you guys get with the program. Yeah. Baptist. Southern
Baptist, okay.
Yeah.
And look at us getting along.
Yeah.
and look at us preacher's kids, and we didn't fall off the deep end.
No.
We're still here.
And you've got a devotional to help those who are struggling.
That's right.
Including us.
Yeah. You know, a lot of times I'll finish writing a song and feel like I've got more to say about that topic, more to unpack. You know, as a songwriter, you tell a story in 3 minutes and try to make it rhyme. And so these books that I get to write now, this is my 6th book, and it's just a chance for me to unpack some scriptural truths on a deeper level and share with people what God's been sharing with me and my story. And the whole message of this is a reminder that your story matters, your story is significant, your story has an author, and you ain't it. And so when you trust your story to the true author, that's when you start to discover that every single chapter of your story can be used to help somebody else, to encourage the world. It's not your story for your glory, which is how a lot of people in this world live. It's your story for a greater purpose. It's your story for God's glory. The one who made you is going to shine his light through you if you'll let him do it.
And that's the beauty of songwriting in a way, too, right? Because your truth tends to be universal to so many people. They relate to your story, and you hear it at merch tables all around the country.
That's what we love about music, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like when I hear a song and I go, man, that's my life. That's my story. And people come up to me and say, you summed up my story in that song. That's my anthem. And I want to I've tried to spend my whole career with the songs that I write pointing to the people in the audience and saying, hey, it's not just the guy with the microphone that's got a story to tell. What's God doing in your life? What part of your story looks worthless to you? I dare you to put it in the hands of the author of your story and watch him turn it into something beautiful.
My story, your glory, is new, and on my nightstand,
Yeah.
I've got a couple of books. One's from Don Reed
Okay.
of the Statler Brothers, the
All
Hall
right.
of Fame
Yeah,
Statler
yeah.
Brothers. That's a devotional. And then the other one is The God Who Stays, which you were
Oh,
promoting, I
yeah.
think, the last time you were here.
Yes.
We were talking about that.
Yeah, that was a special book that I wrote during a really difficult time in our world during that pandemic, and just being reminded that we have a friend who is never far off, right? And it's the idea of God being close to us. The Bible says He's never going to leave us, never going to forsake us, and we all know, I think, what it feels like to be abandoned or have somebody change their mind about us. And so I try to put those messages out into the world one at a time, whether it's a song or a book or just hanging with you guys today. Maybe somebody listening today who feels alone. Maybe lonely, maybe feel isolated or feel like they don't deserve to have a close relationship with God because they've messed up one too many times. Man, those are lies. The truth is that He loves you. He's never going to give up on you. And He is the God who stays with you through every chapter of your story.
Matthew West, Don't Stop Praying. Have you got a...
You got me fired up now.
That's right. Preach it, man.
Let's go.
Do you have a screen print in your home that I see a little video of where we can get T-shirts?
We borrowed that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we borrowed it from a friend who had like this connection with an art department, and we started because it's so funny. I put this song "Don't Stop Praying" out, and it's like here we are in an election year, and there's going to be a whole lot of yard signs. And I was thinking about all the campaigns and slogans, and so for me, I was like, okay, well, how do you do that with everybody going to be? There's so much tension that happens during an election year.
Yeah.
How can we cut through that tension with a positive message? And I wound up writing this song called "Don't Stop Praying," and we thought, well, let's screen print a bunch of those and let's make yard signs. And so people have been popping yard signs in their front yard amidst all the, what do you call them, candidates, right? And, and so there's these signs that say, "Don't stop praying." But and that's my campaign. I'm not running for president unless maybe one of you guys wants to be my running mate. Let's do it. And that'll be our campaign slogan.
But if you go to Matthew's website, to MatthewWest.com, you'll see him in there printing them and being very, very delicate.
I'll get you guys one of those T-shirts. I
Okay,
think
great.
you'll like it. Yeah.
There's Matthew West. He's in the hot seat this morning. And Don't Stop Praying, we got to hear just before the break. And there's a lot about that on his website. As a matter of fact, your website, tell me about the prayer wall.
Oh man, it's been so cool with that song. "Don't Stop Praying" it seems like it's really resonating with people. One of the things that happened on our spring tour, I had this idea. I had a buddy of mine who's a handyman build this wall that we could take on tour, and we put it in the lobby every night on the Don't Stop Praying tour. And we had these little tags where people could write out one thing that they're praying for and then put it up on that wall. And by the end of the night, I would have my team bring that wall on stage. And you want to talk about some perspective, for everybody in the audience to see how just hundreds and hundreds of people, it kind of shows you, man, everybody's got a battle that they're fighting. You know what I mean? And one of my favorite quotes is, be kind to each other because everybody's fighting a hard battle. And so, just kind of getting that perspective with the audience and then just being reminded of, like, why do we pray? Well, we pray because the Bible says that we have a God who hears us when we pray. They don't bounce off the ceiling. And just an encouragement for people, like when you feel like you can't pray one more time, what do? You do it one more time. Maybe you're a parent and that you got a child who's battling an addiction, or maybe you haven't been able to get pregnant. You know what I mean? Whatever those stories, and maybe you're facing a financial crisis or battling anxiety, and you feel like you can't pray. Keep praying and know that God hears you, and He's working a perfect plan in His own time. So it's been pretty sweet to take that to a virtual level where people can go on my website and just submit a little prayer request and know that they're not alone. And there's a whole bunch of people forming community, praying for each other, which is pretty sweet.
Wow. 18 Summers you're going to do for us live, but
I'd love to.
What's the video project that we link to on your website?
For 18 Summers?
Yeah.
People. So this is a song that's literally a page taken out of the chapter of my story that I'm in right now. My oldest daughter's graduating from high school next week, and man, if you want to see a grown man cry, just visit the West House, because I've been in my feelings, you know what I mean?
What's her name?
Her name's Lulu.
Oh, okay.
And I'm so proud of her. She's such a great kid, but I think parents kind of hit that moment where they're like, man, they told me it would go by fast, and I didn't realize it would be this fast. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't wish it, could go back and do it all over again. And so I put those feelings into a song. A lot of people have gotten mad at me about this song because it's messed up their makeup, So this is my story right now, and we're letting people kind of share pictures of, special moments with their family, and then we're putting a little video together. Just a reminder to make the most of the time that we get with the ones that we love,
Matthew West.
I just sent that to my sister-in-law, whose daughter just graduated Trevecca, and it's the last of their 3 kids now. So but everybody has that thing that you relate to, right? That's the universal nature of it all.
That song's hard for me to sing.
I can imagine. Yeah.
That's
When's graduation? It's soon, right?
Yeah. She came home the other day with her purple cap and gown, like you can't. And she said, "Dad, close your eyes." And when I opened my eyes, she was wearing. I was trying to be excited. I was like, what's your hurry?
I'm 10 years out from my high school graduation, and now that I'm older, I can think back to watching my dad go through all of that, and so I'm feeling that and kind of looking at how my daddy would have seen that. Making me think of him this morning.
It's funny how people, they always would, when you have kids, they're like, oh, they give you advice. Oh, this age is the best, or this age is the worst, or get ready for this. And one of the things that I keep discovering is that every season has its own kind of beauty. Even in one where it's like, oh, my girl, our house is not ever going to look the same. My daughter's moving. She's going to go to college, but trying to find the beauty even in that, And as a dad, like, man, I've never cried so much. I've heard about that happen to women at a certain age.
Yeah.
But
you
then
get weepy very easily.
Yeah, but that term menopause has men in it. I'm like, does that happen to us too?
We call it menopause.
Menopause.
Yes.
Well, then that's what I'm feeling these days.
You gonna do My Jesus before you go?
I'd love to.
Okay.
You want to hear another one?
I would love that.
It's a song I wrote with my friend Ann Wilson, who's part of the Opry Next for 2024.
Opry Next Stage, yeah. And you guys do her management? Your management?
Yeah, our company gets to manage her.
Okay.
We started by writing songs together, so we've written a whole lot of songs. Her new album, I'll give a plug for her new album. That'd be a good manager thing to do. Her new album, Rebel, just came out. We wrote a bunch of songs on that album, and but this was the song that we wrote together that kind of started the whole thing.
Matthew West. Coffee, Country, and Cody on his way to the Grand Ole Opry on May 25th. Vince Gill, Steve Earle, they're there that night.
Oh, man. Now I just got nervous.
You ever write with Vince?
I got to do a duet with Vince on a Christmas song I wrote. It was one of the coolest moments of my life. A song called Leaving Heaven. And I had met Amy a few times, and I texted Amy. I said, I'm going to go out on a limb here and ask if you think Vince would ever sing a song with me. And I'll never forget the text message I got back. She said, ask him for yourself. And then it was his cell phone number. And I was like, what? What am I supposed to do with this?
Incredible.
So I texted Vince because I was too nervous to call him. I said, I don't know if you know me, but, He said, yeah, man, I'll do it. Like it was that nonchalant. And then he showed up at Dark Horse Studios in Franklin, and I'll never forget, he popped the trunk, and I thought he'd have all this gear. And he pulled out an electric guitar that wasn't in a case. It was just in his trunk. I'm like, this is amazing. And a little amp. And he walked in with this, it was kind of an underwhelming guitar rig. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he started playing because I just wanted him to play guitar. Like I love his guitar playing. I love his singing too, but I wasn't even going to be so bold to ask him to sing. I said, will you come play guitar? He comes and plays this beautiful guitar part on the song.
Wow.
And then I was like, we're kind of warming up to each other. I'm like, hey, how the vocal cords feeling? You want to sing? He's like, sure. I'll never forget it. It was such a cool moment. So,
Well,
those are Nashville stories that
man,
I
are
can't
they
believe
ever.
I get to have.
And you get to share the Opry stage with him on the 25th. And then you're off to Grand Junction, Colorado, Sheldon, Iowa, Winona Lake, Indiana, Duluth, Minnesota, Muskegon, Michigan.
Summertime, we go up north. Let's do it. Who's the smart man right there, huh?
This is called good routing, is what it's called. Eryn Cooper, she is in for Kelly Sutton this morning, but the two of you were together last night at the Opry. Speaking of the Opry.
Oh my goodness, we had the best time. I popped in right as Frank Ray was on stage, and can you believe his most recent baby girl, who's Olivia, she's now 15 months old. She was not even a year when he was here last time.
We surprised him with a gender reveal on stage at the Opry.
Boy,
That's the way to do it.
That seems like that was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, my
so it was about
goodness.
2 years ago, actually. Yeah.
That is awesome. And Lady A was there. Ashley McBride was there. I walked by as she was doing maybe Memphis. Maybe it was Memphis, warming up. And it was just a grand old time at the Grand Ole Opry. Yeah. But now we have Luke Combs trying to be a storm chaser, sneaking his way into every weather-themed piece of art that he can. Some fans did some research here, and you may know that there is a addendum, you could call it, to the 1996 blockbuster film Twister. Well, now they're coming out with Twisters, plural, starring Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones. She was in When the Crawdads Sing. I think that came out last year. Anyway, the original trailer dropped in February, but if you go to theaters, they're playing a new version of the trailer that just teases you a little bit with what sounds like Luke Combs' voice in a song. Now, we don't have the actual new trailer because it's not anywhere on the internet yet, but we do have fan footage from the theater. Let's take a listen.
Tyler Owens calls himself a tornado wrangler. If you feel it.
And our crew is not like your crew. We don't need PhDs and fancy tech.
Okay, so of course, we don't have it confirmed that that is Luke Combs or what the song could be, but fans are definitely sure that it's him. And of course, he has Category 10, his hurricane, I don't know if you could call it hurricane themed. I mean, the name is inspired by his song Hurricane, but he has his bar opening up here in Nashville, and now he's going to have a song and a movie about tornadoes, it seems like.
Release date July 19th. This summer, haunted by a devastating encounter with a tornado, Kate Cooper gets lured back to the open plains by her friend. Is it Javi? Javi?
I would say so, yes.
Javi, right?
Or Javi, yes.
Javi?
Short for Javier.
To test a groundbreaking new tracking system, she soon crosses paths with Tyler Owens, played by Charlie Mattos, a charming but reckless social media superstar who thrives on posting his storm-chasing adventures.
Charming and reckless. I'll take
Not
that.
a reckless social media star.
No, heaven forbid that format.
Are storm chasers trying to be influencers now? Oh, no. Just stick with, like, the skincare brand deals. That's a lot safer. What are you doing?
So Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton in the original?
I think
Does
you're
that sound
right.
right? Yeah. Helen Hunt famously, I remember,
Yeah.
but I think Bill Paxton.
That movie haunted my dreams as a child for a while. It very much scared me. All right, Brian Kelly. We talked about yesterday how FGL House, Florida Georgia Line's bar just off of Broadway here in Nashville, is quietly closing to be replaced with a Lainey Wilson bar. Well, very timely, Brian Kelly is releasing his first album with Big Machine called Tennessee Truth. He says that it's proudly going to showcase this Florida native's values, passions, and love for the good old country lifestyle. And for the most part, other than one song, Kiss My Boots, which is rumored to be about his former FGL cohort. He says it's not a serious record, which I don't really know how to take that. But he did. Oh, go ahead, Charlie.
Fun. It's just a fun listen to. A good summertime album.
I would call Brian Kelly fun.
Yes.
Yes. He also said a little bit more about what he hopes people get out of the album.
My Tennessee truth is I'm not any different than those that are going to enjoy this record. Like, we have the same headspace and mindset. We love country music. We have a lot of the same core values of God, family, country, working hard, having something to look forward to when that hard work is done, right?
Yes, Brian Kelly's Tennessee Truth album drops this Friday. Songs of the summer on their way, Bill and Charlie and Annie.
Back to 1996, by the way, for the original Twister. So It's been 28 years.
That's wild.
And it was Bill Paxton.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of party and songs of the summer, how many of you that work from home have ever hush workationed? So like hush workationed. Do you know what that could be?
No.
All right. So to spell it for you, work, W-O-R-K, cationed, as in vacationed. So this is a practice that is so common that there's now a term for it. And it's for people that work remotely, but they're absolutely on vacation the whole time and don't tell anybody. So they're logging in from the beach or perhaps a safari. And a poll went out to see how many people had done this. And 2,000 employed people in this country took the poll. And the company that did the poll says 52% of people were into it, and 29% of people have actually done this, where you take vacation without actually taking
Why
vacation.
is the number so low? Why are they still lying?
That, I mean,
I'll be
fair
working
enough.
from home. Yeah. It was the great phrase that pays from the pandemic and continues to.
Well, that was, Airbnb was losing millions, right? And then they realized that, well, just, you're working from home anyway. Work from home with this view. And that's how they managed to get through 2020 and 2021. I mean, if you have Wi-Fi, it really doesn't matter where you work from.
I would have to agree.
I applaud you.
It's not something we could ever do with what we do here. I could not secretly be in the Bahamas and also be here.
Well, if you zoomed in, you could zoom in from
that
anywhere.
That is true.
So,
that is true. Yeah. And to conclude, nearly 30% of folks who took this poll have extended their vacation to secretly work remotely. So let's see if we can figure that one out, guys.
Eryn Cooper, Entertainment. She's in for Kelly Sutton, who'll be back tomorrow on Coffee, Country, and Cody. And we're back to wrap it up here in just a little bit. Stay close. And we are back to wrap it up on Coffee, Country, and Cody Wednesday. Thursday, Opry Country Classics. It'll be the finale of the spring season and dedicated to the memory and music of Johnny Paycheck. Charlie Mattos.
Larry, Steve, and Rudy, the Gatlin brothers will be there. Chris Jansen, Jamie Johnson, Georgette Jones, William Michael Morgan, Jesse Keith Whitley, and John Paycheck.
Ooh.
And the guy who started that tradition, that thing we know as the Grand Ole Opry, 1968. This is the date of the passing of George D. Hay, the solemn old judge, George Dewey Hay. He was 72. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.